Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your boy, The Sean Davy Way Show. Please hit that like and subscribe on the way in and tap that bell if you would like to be notified of all of our future content. Today, I bring you another surviving TikTok, most delusional couples. And this time, we will speak more of Karlissa and Jonathan, which are Blueface's mother and father. In my opinion, it's a little easier to understand what's going on in the present if you know what has happened in the past. That's why I think it's a good idea to speak on Karlissa, her relationship with her children, and also the relationship with her ex, Jonathan. But in this installment, we will focus more so on Karlissa, Blueface, and her son, Andre. But before we do, Karan's family has had a lot to say. We just haven't seen it because they're not doing it on a more so of a public scale, doing interviews and whatnot. So let's get into how Karan's family feels about Chrisean Jr. and what happened to Karan. I think it's important because a lot of people feel as if the family doesn't care, and they do. So let's get into that. Karan's family members speak out after Chrisean mentioned his passing while threatening those who talk about her son, Junior. After Chrisean put up a post that says, "Everyone think that they can speak on my son always lose their life. I wonder why they keep going when they see the end result of trying to harm me for your personal clout gain." She also said, "Then it was my ex-boyfriend Karan. Unfortunately, that person died." Karan's family sees and hears everything that's going on, and yes, they have things to say. His aunt started by saying, "All my nephew did was love her son." Jetta Jean is Karan's aunt on his mother's side, which would be his mother's sister. She was also at the funeral, very close to Karan before his untimely passing. Commenters, which would be people in the comments, asked Jetta how she feels about Karan's alleged son, Chrisean Jr., and if they plan on doing anything like getting a DNA test or trying to get custody of the baby or at least visit the baby. And this is what Jetta had to say. "We asked her, and she confirmed that's not my sister's grandson. We respect that, so we're good." Jetta also says at Telly, "You're right, he's not related to us. We asked and she confirmed he is not related to us." In my opinion, Karan's aunt Jetta was very respectful. She is only going off of what she knows. They have asked Chrisean and Chrisean's family if the baby was Karan's, if there's anything that they could do. If it was, Chrisean states that this is not his son. He does not belong to Karan. So what is the family supposed to do at that point in time when they can't do anything against the guardian and or parent, which is Chrisean? So without Chrisean, they can do nothing. They can't go around and take swabs of his DNA and compare it to their own or Karan's, because it's rumored that Karan was cremated. So if he was cremated, there's not much DNA to figure out if that was truly his son, which would have been more of the motive for Chrisean to want to have Karan allegedly unalived. The family is paying attention to the things that Chrisean says and does. Again, they want to make sure that Karan receives the justice he so deserves. So we heard from Jetta, his aunt. Other aunt, whose name is Tina, spoke out after she saw the post of Chrisean speaking ill on Karan as well. Tina's quote, "No one spoke ill of that child. People told the truth of his health issues, and it's because she intentionally drank, smoked drugs that made that child that way. People stop making excuses for the devil she is." A commenter in the chat asked about Karan as well. Just like Aunt Jetta, they wanted to ask Aunt Tina how she felt about a DNA test for Chrisean Jr., and this is what she had to say. "Don't need a DNA test. Karan favors his mom and dad family. Our genes are easily seen in Karan. That child is Blueface or the security guard at this point. Who cares?" Tina also asks her sister Jetta and says, "For all these people talking DNA and Junior, let's be clear. That girl belonged to the streets, and streetwalkers never know who the father is. We good over here. All she need to do is keep our nephew and family out her mouth. Hope she read this because she always been a runner." Another one of Karan's family members, which would be his cousin, came forward and said, "At Chrisean, why you keep speaking on Karan's name? Let that man rest. The F you was carrying-ish the whole time he was alive, bruh. Karma don't miss." She also said, "At Chrisean, Why you always speaking on my cousin Karan and still ain't got no teeth in your mouth? You in DC, right? Cause you been ducking that smoke since Karan was alive. You can't be saved now. Speaking on Shawty name before I find a physical address. You at since CPS can't. Little dirty arse. One of Karan's sisters come forward and says, this is a fair warning because I've been asked 3 times already. Leave me alone immediately about the Chrisean ish. You'll get cussed today. Also says, I can't wait to get my hands on Shawty. Stop speaking on my brother, BITCH, at Chrisean. It's clear that Karan's family does not like Chrisean and wants to put hands, feet, etc. on her. They just haven't seen her. So for the people going around saying that Chrisean was at Karan's funeral, again, that is a lie. Chrisean was not at Karan's funeral, aka Ronnie Doe, because she knows how the family feels about her. She knows the temperature of the family, and it's extremely hot when it comes to Chrisean. So from the mother on down, it's not too many of Ronnie's family members that will see Chrisean and not handle her immediately, even at the funeral. I know some may think it's unfair that the Can family, Karan or Ronnie Doe's family isn't doing more to see if Chrisean Jr. belongs to him, because it seems as if it was his dying wish to find that information out, and he may have lost his life in the process of trying to figure that out. I would ask you to take a step back and look at the situation in its entirety. Although Chrisean Jr. is an innocent baby, he has caused a lot of havoc. And again, he's innocent, so it's not like he did it. The people around him did. Would you really want to try to fight for a kid that your kid died for, and not because he was trying to protect him or anything like that, just simply because he may have been related to him? Would you be in a rush to try to secure that child? Remember, dealing with the son is to deal with the mother. If you feel that the mother took your son's life or had your son's life taken, or cousin or brother, whomever Karan was to you, would you really want to deal with this situation? Would you really want to deal with Chrisean? Would you really want to look across the table or across the room at somebody that has done something that has hurt you so greatly? So rather the baby is innocent or not, as a relative, it's probably hard to look at that baby and love him and completely overlook that the reason the person that created him, which was your family, somebody that you loved, died because of him. That's not an easy pill to swallow. And as you see, no one in Karan's family has anything nice to say about Chrisean. They leave Chrisean Jr. out of it, which I can definitely appreciate, but I understand the anger and hostility. I also understand the family being standoffish and hesitant of being around Chrisean Jr. or finding out that Chrisean Jr. is Ronnie's son, because it'll just make matters worse. And if you want to know how, it's simple. Chrisean is already denying Ronnie being the father, and she's been doing that pretty much this whole time. So say it came back, if they took a DNA test, got some of Ronnie's DNA, got Chrisean Jr.'s DNA, put it together, find out, yes, he is the father. Do you think it's going to be easy for this family to see this baby? Or do you think that Chrisean is just going to keep keeping the baby away from the family? So I would rather have it in my mind to not know if Karan's the father, because I think it'll make it a little easier living life on a day-to-day basis. But to find out that that is his son, and to have to watch what goes on online with this baby and not being able to do much about it would be heart-wrenching. To know that your son has a son, that there's still part of your son here in this world, but the turmoil and chaos that surrounds even having him in your life just may be too much to bear. People have attachment issues, especially to children. So to get attached to this baby, him being around, the family loving on him, and then him being taken away, who knows when the next time you'll see him? It could be months, it could be years. Who wants to deal with that? Nobody. And Chrisean is slow. And she's also very spiteful. And I just don't agree with the rhetoric of people saying that the family doesn't care. I think they do. I think their hands are just tied. And what do you do if a person keeps telling you, no, he's not your son. No, he's not your son's son. No, he's not your grandson. No, he's not your nephew. No, he's not your cousin. What do you do besides just wash your hands of the situation and walk away? This family is still grieving Ronnie. He just passed this year, February of 2025. So their emotions are still really raw. Grieving processes are different for everyone. So just because you may cope with something faster than the next person does not mean that the journey is not as important. So if Ronnie's mother is still grieving, which obviously she is, this was her only son, it's a lot to breathe in trying to hand them a disabled child that may belong to him but may not belong to him. It's a lot. So I think people should give it some time. Let this family finish grieving. Who knows how long that'll take, and they get to take their time. They don't need to rush and figure out if Ronnie was really the father of Chrisean Jr., when even if it's true, not much will change besides them feeling worse, them feeling judgment as well. Because why wouldn't people be like, oh, well, y'all found out that Chrisean Jr. belongs to Ronnie. Why haven't y'all taken him away? Y'all know how the internet is. The internet will not let up, and they will be really harsh on this family. So I would say just give them time. Who knows what the future holds? As of right now, his mother is grieving. We all respect and have love for Ronnie. We all want him to rest in peace. And we also want him to have some type of peace, right? So let's just give them time and see what the future holds. Hasn't even been a year since this man has passed away. Let the family deal with that first before trying to shove Chrisean Jr. down their throat.
Junior is mine or not. And if niggas is not gonna help me address that in the right manner, I'm gonna
So
start
if
making
he
noise
yours,
until we
you gonna
address
step
it.
for him? You gonna step to Blueface for Blueface
Yes, I'm gonna knock
disrespecting?
his ass
Okay,
the fuck out.
okay, that's
If
what I
that's my
wanted to
son,
know.
if that's my son, I'm gonna knock Blue the fuck out. I'm gonna knock him clean on his shit. I'm gonna sit his bitch ass down. Like, one thing about it, nigga know how I squabble. Like, I've been touched Cali jail. I've been touched Cali State Penitentiary. A nigga know how I squabble. That shit ain't about nothing. I will sit that nigga down. If that's my son, all that Charles Barkley shit, I'm gonna make him eat all
Yeah.
that shit.
Okay.
He gonna eat all that shit. All that shit embarrassing him, posting his hernia and shit. Like I
Oh,
understand his
honey, that
intention
shit
was to,
had me on a warpath with his ass,
yeah, that
okay?
shit had me on one. You get what I'm saying?
That
Like
had me
even
on a
his
warpath.
even his bogus ass mama, like she tried to fake play with my mama, say like, oh, I did more than your mom. I pulled up. Like, girl, my mama not no internet clout chasing
Karlissa
ass
don't even
female.
like my nephew. She's a fake bitch.
Yeah, she don't
Karlissa don't
care
like
about
Junior.
Junior. She
She
don't
don't, and
care
I
about
can't
Junior.
stand her ass.
Like that's why I'm
Somebody
not,
said you
you know
sell
what I'm
bugs
saying?
online. You have unalived someone and have threatened to unalive others, but you're better.
I never threatened to unalive nobody. I smoked a nigga because I had to defend myself, and I smoke another nigga if I gotta defend myself. But at the end of the day, like y'all not gonna play with me just because I am who
Peace to Ronnie. I showed you that clip because I've had people in my comments state, well, Sean, if you don't think Blueface is going to be a good dad, Ronnie wouldn't have been one either. He was out here taking lives, etc. Well, I'm here to say that Ronnie did go to jail years back around 2019 for taking a life. The reason he did it was out of self-defense. Not because he was online threatening people, saying what he was going to do to them, trying to be a gang member publicly, all of that, like Chrisean and Blueface and others. No, that is not Ronnie's testimony. So it's unfortunate that Ronnie had to take a life, but if it's me or you, everyone's going to choose themselves, and that's all Ronnie did. It's not like Ronnie was out here like this.
Anything that's chiming in. I hope you hiding. You getting your little clicks, it's not worth losing your life or your mother getting hurt. You get what I'm saying? So
again, that is Chrisean once again threatening to take lives. So if something was to happen to Blueface, are we supposed to think that it's just a mere coincidence? Or are we supposed to think that since the person that is saying that she's going to hurt and harm Blueface and Karlissa, if anything happened to either one of them, we're just supposed to overlook it? So why would we overlook it when it comes to Ronnie? Because it's not a coincidence. She had everything to do with what happened to Ronnie. I feel it in my gut, I feel it in my spirit, and I also feel it when I pray. The reason I think Ronnie would have been a good father, one, it starts with wanting to be. All right. That's how good parents start off as being good parents. You have to simply want to be. And Ronnie wanted to be a good dad. He wasn't a father. He didn't have children prior to Chrisean Jr. So being a dad is something that he would have gotten the hang of, if you ask me. Now, would he have been perfect? No, because no one is. But I do think he would have had a better shot with Ronnie than he would have ever had with Chrisean and or Blueface. I don't think Ronnie would have had Chrisean Jr. all over the internet and at this person's house and that person's house around smoke and alcohol and all that. I just don't feel like he would have did that. I think that his family would have super babied Chrisean Jr. I think that he would have been right there with them. He was the apple of his mom's eye, his aunt's eye, and his sisters. They were all crazy about him. So if Chrisean Jr. was his, I think with all of those beautiful black women around him, he would have gotten it together eventually. It's going to take time. This child is disabled and has special needs that need to be being met. And I think Ronnie would have done that. I think the baby would have been overly spoiled. I think the family would have became a village when it came to Chrisean Jr. And I think he would have been so much better off. Even Chrisean mentioned out of her own mouth that Ronnie had a loving family, that she wishes that the baby belonged to Ronnie because his mom and sisters and whatnot would have taken the will and been 10 times better than anybody in the Malone family. So yes, I do think it would have taken some encouragement and him following a lot of rules, but I think he would have gotten it together. I really do. It's a process, and he had a strong village. So yes, I do think Ronnie would have been an exceptional father. Rest in peace to Ronnie Doe. I will keep you updated with anything Ronnie Doe. You don't have to worry about that. I do have a part 2 that I am creating right now. It is very time consuming, but I'm going to get it together for you. It's a lot of reading and stuff like that. So I want to make sure I do the video properly. That will be dropping soon. So check that out when it does, and I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions. Moving right along to surviving Karlissa and Jonathan, let's dive into this. In my opinion, Karlissa is one of the trashiest parents on earth. To put it to you short, I hate Karlissa. I do. There's no other way to put it. Karlissa is one of those moms that people have nightmares of. She has no empathy or sympathy towards any of her children unless they are prolonging what she calls this dry Hollywood career. Karlissa does not care about her sons in the way that most mothers do, meaning you want to see your kid thrive, you want to see them survive, and you also want them to be proud of you and proud of themselves. Karlissa could care less about any of that. Her eldest son, Andre, she also has a daughter, and Blueface. The only one she seems to care about is Blue. Blue is the one that lines her pockets. Blue is the one she could try to be the momager to so that she can further the things that she wants to do in Hollywood instead of further or advance her own child's career. Karlissa is a talentless slut bucket that never made it. I did a deep dive on this last year. It's called Surviving Blueface. And I broke down Blueface's childhood with receipts. And I don't care to do that right now, and not in a negative way. I've just already done it. And I want to keep the focus on what we're talking about right now. Karlissa has zero talent. Karlissa is boring. Even on the Auntie podcast with Brokio Tony and Tia Kemp, she was lackluster. People truly tuned in for Tokyo Tony and Tia Kemp. People could care less about Karlissa, just like still to this day. She simply has no talent. She's a bore. She's boring. That's why she does nothing on the merit of herself, because there's nothing there. What is she going to go live and talk about if it's not Blueface? She has no star power in Hollywood at all whatsoever. So since she can't do it off the back and the strength of her, she uses Blueface to do it instead. Let's get into that. Her eldest son, Andre, who is currently serving time in prison, has had a lot to say about Chrisean and his mother before being incarcerated. Let's get into that.
A manipulator. Like the reason I fuck with her is because She don't just try to manipulate. She's a really good manipulator, my nigga. Like on a high level. Like she got half of y'all food. I'm being honest. Like that's why I really have a lot of respect for her. Cause I'm like, anybody who has this power, this much of a superpower that could bend and manipulate the truth this well has to be special, bro. I can't knock her gift. That's her gift. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to point out to the people when she misusing her gift for wrong, right? I be trying to keep it square because wrong is wrong and right is right, my nigga. End the story. When women come into a man's life and a nigga got a baby mama and the mama's involved and the mama's rocking with the other baby mama, she got to go. When the brother's involved and he rocking with the other baby mama and I'm trying, anybody who not rocking with this.
You know, on Zeus, Karlissa had got a reality show based around her family. She could not do the show alone because, again, she is effing boring. No one is checking for Karlissa, not even her husband. That's why she has so much time on her hands, because he'd rather the internet deal with her than him. So she uses her kids and brings them on this show so that she can try to project her star power higher. Although the kids signed on, they felt maybe things would change. Maybe they would get closer to their mother throughout this experience, when it just made things 10 times worse.
I want to ask you a question. Would you ever date Chrisean? Like, be honest.
Nah, Chrisean tried me before she tried my brother. Like Chrisean, I think, tried to talk to me before she was talking to my brother. I think that she felt like she couldn't get my brother because she was just on some weird shit on the show. And I just wasn't fuck with her because she was on some weird shit. Like she was shitting in her drawers. Like she tried me like 3 times. Like, yeah, bro. Literally the other girl, I don't know if it made it on the show, but I was standing right there with like 18 females right there. And it was like the second time somebody found some shitty draws in the house. And then she walked up to him like, hey, everybody saying these are shitty draws. And she was like, so she admitted them are shitty draws. Like, and she kept doing it, just leaving shitty draws. I'd have seen her eat food, like her eating habits. I don't know if she picked it up just being homeless growing up in Baltimore.
Filming of one of the reality shows. They've done many, so it could have been the one where Blueface first started off and brought a bunch of women into his home and planned on finding the best rapper of the bunch and signing them to his label. Chrisean Rock was one of those people. But that's not what happened. It's alleged that Blueface brought all the girls there to pretty much sleep with them and then get rid of them as he felt, and just kept one or two with talent to make it look as if that's what he was doing the whole time, when he was really just trying to sleep with a bunch of different girls at the same time. Andre says one of the girls kept having shitty underwear, you know, what he just said. And Chrisean came forward and claimed the underwear. So this is why Andre said, yeah, I wasn't really interested in her because she doesn't wipe well. She pretty much just goes to the bathroom, sits down, does her business, stands up, pulls her panties up, and just walks on out as if she self-cleans. So he wanted no parts. He said that Chrisean pretty much disgusted him with that, and he just looked at her as a friend. So I believe everything he's saying. I do believe that Chrisean was trying to get with Andre. She is an opportunist. She's still doing it to this day. So shout out to Andre. I believe it. What do you think? Please comment below if you think that Andre was telling the truth or not. I would love to hear your thoughts. While Blueface and Andre were growing up, as well as their sister, Karlissa was not a present parent. She was constantly giving her responsibilities to other people, and in the process, one would gain trauma from that. Karlissa came online and told a horrific story about what happened to her as a child. She allegedly went through SA. I would encourage you to go listen to that on your own. It's way too vulgar and triggering for me to play here, but just Google Karlissa tells her SA story and it should pop right up. I didn't appreciate Karlissa coming forward with her story, although I wish I could have, because it's very distasteful how she did it. I understand we all grieve differently, we all cope differently, but to make a mockery of a situation that happened to you and make it seem as if it wasn't as big of a deal as it was, I just can't get down with that. If Karlissa would have seriously told the story of what allegedly happened to her, I would have been able to appreciate it because it could explain things and it could also help her children understand her a little bit more and why she may have been such an absent parent. Blueface and Andre have expressed throughout their time on social media that their mother was a man-eater, that she pretty much ran around sleeping with man to man. Every time she got pregnant, she would pretty much just leave the baby on the doorsteps for other people to take care of. Even if it wasn't their father's, it was someone else, rather in the family, distant family member, or friend of family. Everybody raised Blueface and Andre except Karlissa. As a child harboring those type of feelings, they don't go away unless they are healed. This is why therapy and so much other stuff is helpful to get adults to be able to get over ruts in their lives. When you go through traumatic situations, sometimes we stay froze within that time and froze within that age. So we can't move on because there is no closure. It's hard to move on from something that you are still consistently dealing with. And in Andre's case, this is how he's felt about his mom. He's always felt abandoned by her. He's always felt that he didn't matter. He's felt as if he shouldn't have been born. Like, that's how he feels. And it doesn't help feeling ignored by someone and then having a sibling while they get all of the attention. That has to be really hard when you are yearning for your mother. Andre loves his mom. Blueface loves his mom. And I also believe that their sister loved their mom as well. But it doesn't mean that that thin line between love and hate does not still exist. So as much as you can love someone, you can hate them too. Blueface and Andre could have been outstanding fathers. Both of them have children, but they're in and out of jail and keep having issues with just trying to thrive and survive as grown men because they weren't taught properly. So it's great that Jonathan has made appearances in Blueface's life, but he is no different. He is just as trash as Karlissa. Andre has his own father. Karlissa went on to Hollywood Unlocked and did an interview with Jason Lee and said that Andre's father was pretty much a next door neighbor that she started sleeping with, and he was low on her totem pole, meaning didn't have much money or anything like that. So she kicked him to the curb. And not only did she do that, she pretty much did the same thing with Andre. Let's get into Andre's story and I'll be right back with my commentary.
Bro, and like towards the end, you know, kids start leaving. It's you know, I'm the last kid left. I look up, man, this bitch done left me. I didn't see this bitch again for like 4 months. Left. This is a stranger. Look, remember, this is a friend of the family, but this is still somebody I'm not related to, bro. And she tried to deny this shit, but you can ask all my aunties, bro, just left me there. I was in the room with this nigga, whoever the fuck they was, this parent. He's trying to call everybody they know, trying to find somebody who I'm related to come get me, bro. And she just took off and left. I didn't see her again for months. They finally got a hold of my uncle, and I lived with my uncle for a minute, bro. And she just left, was gone. This type of mother that you are, you're a fucking banshee. I tried to love you still because I'm a real nigga. Because I wanted to love my mother. Even though she ain't never loved me, bro. You done have 2 different husbands put their hands on me, bro. For some shit that you did, because you want to keep fucking with your side, nigga. But keep blaming everything on everybody else, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You done have me tripped out trying to protect you from all these niggas and turned myself into a whole crazy person out here fighting crackheads and shit for you because you want to fucking do all the bullshit that you doing. For what? Who you know started arguing with a nigga and then running their son room? I'm 15. You all your dreams, you talking about Netflix gonna call you one day. You going on live talking about Chrisean. Like, you just going on your live yelling at your phone all damn day. You not even talking about shit. You ain't talking about no talent. You not producing nothing. You just on your phone. Tell her if she never talk about Chrisean again, y'all wouldn't tune in. If she couldn't say Chrisean or Blueface, y'all wouldn't tune in, bro. And that's it. There's no talent. There's no orchestration. There's no leadership. There's no nothing. It's just, I got beat up and I'm mad. Man, fuck all that.
I know what Andre is explaining to me is trauma. When you go back to a young age and it's just like yesterday, you can remember what you had on, what the food smelled like, if there was food there, all of the parties that were involved. When you can go back to that to where it's so vivid, to where it feels like it happened yesterday, that is trauma. So when she did that to him, he was forever changed that day. He was abandoned in front of everyone. And not only was he abandoned, other people noticed. So with them noticing that he was abandoned, he couldn't hide from it. When things are going on at home, If you're not there to see it, then you don't know. That's why they say you never know what a person is truly going through. But if everybody sees it, say you get a whooping at home, it's not a big deal if it's happening at home. But if you get a whooping in the middle of a school day or during a lunch period in front of everyone, that can be traumatic to where you never forget that because it forever changes you. That's what happened to Andre that day. That day, Andre felt like he lost his mother. It was already rocky, but that day it was an avalanche. And I don't think he ever truly recovered from that. This is why I say Karlissa is a trash mother. Andre is not lying. We see it on a day-to-day basis. Blueface being in jail, she chronicled the whole thing from him going to jail, while he was in jail, and when he got out. But what's going on with Andre again? Check this out.
Blueface is accused of abusing his wife, and today he was found competent to stand trial. The alleged abuse happened in March on Scarlet River Drive in northwest Bakersfield, according to court documents. A woman identified as Andre Harvey's wife told officers she was in bed with her 4-year-old daughter when Harvey accused her of being unfaithful, then hit and choked her. She says she then ran outside screaming for help, and a neighbor called 911. By the time police arrived, Harvey was gone. Police eventually pulled him over on Hegeman Road, where he was arrested. Harvey told officers his wife and the Illuminati, or a secret society, were trying to kill him because he is Blueface's brother. He is due back in court next Friday.
Andre is in prison right now, and you wouldn't even know because Karlissa, Blueface, and nobody else speaks of him. He is like the forgotten child or the forgotten family member or the one that everyone isolates from because they don't want anything to do with him. Why can't Karlissa document everything that's going on with Blueface, but document nothing that's going on with Andre? She doesn't even say she wishes him well or she hopes that he's okay or visit him in jail or nothing like that. She just leaves well enough alone when it comes to him, but won't leave Blueface alone. Always up in his business, always trying to be the weatherer. Like, you can't weather this type of storm when it comes to drama. That's between him and the people he has the drama with. It has nothing to do with Karlissa. But Andre being in jail has everything to do with her as his mother, and she could care less, but couldn't stop caring about it when Blueface was in jail, giving us updates on how he was and how he's being treated, if he was eating, blah, blah, blah. But just leaves Andre to the wolves.
Oh, bully, bro. This is what I've been talking about my whole life, bro. You just, and you want to play good. I'm a great mother, but you not. You weird as, and you probably, if you was a nigga, you'd have a small dick, bro. You got little man syndrome and a girl body, bro. Grow the fuck up, bro. And you getting beat up and shit. That's why you couldn't talk that shit to Chrisean. You got your ass beat. It's a weird ass, bro. I understand she might be right on some shit or wherever y'all feel like y'all want to support her. Whatever reason she gains the supporters that she has. And I'm not against her having supporters. But don't get your supporters at the expense of disrespecting children, bro. Because niggas die for that. Mama or not, niggas die for disrespecting kids, bro. Because you talking about kids, bro. She disrespect kids on a regular, my nigga. What type of nigga is you? What type of human being? Them is your grandkids, you weird ass. That's your mama. Look at the shit she doing, bro. This is disrespecting people's kids. And they supposed to be her grandkids, bro. How does anybody deal with that shit? How am I supposed to come at her like, oh, my mom, and disrespect and respect her and honor her, honor thy mother? You're crazy. She's disrespected my child, bro. I really just be hurt. Like, I be so hurt that I lose my mind sometimes, you know, and I say things that I say hurtful things, but it be like a nigga be so hurt. I just be like, I be having to explode somewhere because it be so much pent up for so long, you know, to love somebody so much and they not really give a fuck about you. It's just wild, you know, it's a hard pill to swallow, like coming to that realization in my 30s. They're like, damn, you really don't give a fuck about me. You know, you're really just trying to use me to your ultimate goal is that you've been trying to be famous for years and years and years. And it's just like, even with Jonathan, you just use him to be famous. And now that you kind of feel like you got some celebritydom, whatever the fuck you said, now all of a sudden you don't, I don't want to be with the family. But when you was trying to get on, you was using the family like, oh, that's why your show is called The Family Blues instead of Karlissa's reality show. You know, nobody wanted to watch that shit. You did a whole interview about your kids that had...
Side note, so Andre has come forward multiple times on social media and stated how he has felt about family, especially his mother, Karlissa. Many people think that Andre should have tried to handle this behind the scenes if he truly wanted a better relationship with his mother, because you can tell throughout all of the anger that there is a lot of love there. Notice that Andre always says that he loves his mother. When you are a child of trauma because it has been inflicted upon you due to your parents, it's very conflicting coming forward trying to iron out an issue. In the Black community, we are taught to respect our elders, and our parents are high on the totem pole. So with respecting your parent, how do you tell them something about them without them getting upset? Most parents look at it as they've tried their best, they raised you, they got you to the finish line, and that isn't always good enough. Sometimes you have to acknowledge wrongdoing. As parents, we are not perfect. Just because we got our kids to a point in life to where they can take care of themselves, it doesn't mean that the route to get there was an easy one. Sometimes it's really bumpy along the way. And some parents have too much pride because they feel that they are the parent, that the child is not allowed to have any complaints about how they were raised. When parents need to hear these things, we need a report card back from our children, because that's how we find out what they need, what they don't need, what we need to do less of, and what we need to do more of. In the Black community, we are taught not to talk back, etc. Having a disagreement about something that someone either did to you or allowed to happen to you does not mean that you are being disrespectful. When you are not being heard, that is when disrespect comes. So if Andre has tried to have a conversation with his mother about his upbringing and the things that he frowns upon and the things that he smiles upon, being cut off and not being able to finish and express how you feel causes a person to get extremely frustrated. So it's harder for him to want to reach out to her and talk to her when he feels that he will get nowhere. This is when social media comes in. This is when a lot of times people will go on social media and attack certain family members because they're not being cut off. They're being allowed to finish what they have to say, so they feel a lot better. So when you see Andre, because he's not the only one that does this, so many people do this, you'll see a person come forward extremely angry, and then you'll look up in the next live and they're more apologetic or have calmed down. The reason that they have is because they were allowed to express themselves without being cut off, without being told that they're wrong, and without things that they have done in the past being brought up as a defense. You shouldn't have to defend your feelings. You should explain them, because feelings are never wrong. They can be interpreted the wrong way. You can be misunderstood having a feeling, but the feeling is never wrong. And a person like Karlissa will make a person feel as if they are the wrongdoer in the situation when she is, because of removing accountability from something that you don't want to take ownership of. Karlissa doesn't want to take ownership of being a bad mother. That's why it's weird that she tries to say the same thing about Chrisean, that Chrisean doesn't want to take responsibility or accountability. Well, Chrisean only has one kid and she focuses on said child. Now, can she do a lot better? Absolutely. But Karlissa has 3, and if you ask the world, she only has 1. So the audacity of an unfit like Karlissa to come forward and point out an unfit. We understand it takes one to know one, but you should be the last person judging when you've done the same things, just differently. You was a smut in the hood, and so is Chrisean. What are you mad at? When Andre came forward, more so apologetic without apologizing, but still apologetic, he had calmed down a lot, and I think reminiscing on situations that he had with his mom, it made him not want to have that type of energy towards her. Because at the end of the day, all he wants is acceptance. He loves his mom, but he wants his mom to love him back. He does not feel that. He does not feel that she loves him. He feels neglected, he feels abandoned, and he also feels unloved. So when people say in the comments, which is very annoying to me, sorry, but I get really annoyed when people say, oh, well, you can go the other way, Sean. If you have parents that aren't there for you, a lot of times you become great parents. Again, it's love. It's being raised. If you have not seen someone successfully raise children and or you, it is impossible to be a good parent. So if your parents weren't there for you, but your grandmother was, or your grandfather, or your aunt, or uncle, or you were adopted, or a close friend of the family took care of you, you got to see love. You got to be around someone that cared enough about you to make sure that you were truly okay inside and out. So regardless of your parents not being there, you still have an example of how to be a parent. If you were raised and lived in darkness to where no one was there for you, you were pretty much on your own from a young age, then it's a higher probability that you will be a terrible parent. Not, I was living in darkness my whole life, but now I'm pregnant and about to have a kid and I'm going to be the best parent possible. No. Most people born in darkness, living in darkness, and raised in darkness want nothing to do with having a child. Those are the ones that try to terminate their pregnancies, give their children up for adoption, or do whatever they have to do to not be able to conceive, period. Those aren't people that will look up one day, because it's a blessing to be able to have a child and just get it together for the kid, although people have treated them like trash their whole lives. No. They have had someone in their life that have loved them if they turned it around and became a good parent. Whether they marry somebody or date somebody that's a good person and a good parent, or will be a good parent because of their upbringing. It comes from somewhere. It's not just all of a sudden, out of the blue, you decide to be a loving, caring parent. Not at all. You've had an example, even if it was off of television. It's not a secret in the family that Karlissa really doesn't care much for Andre. Poor guy, I feel horribly for him. I see the cry for attention. I see the cry for just wanting his mother to be there for him. His cousin comes forward and speaks on how Karlissa treats Blueface over Andre. Let's get into that.
You don't give a fion about Dreon. You don't give a fuck about Dre. Why you ain't going so hard against Katie that you was going so hard against Chrisean? I have yet to see you mention Avery not one time. Post a picture, post a foot, post anything, say anything about her. But you was going so hard against Chrisean Rock though, right? You don't give a fuck about Dre. Why you ain't filed for your grandpa?
And the entire family knows how Karlissa has treated Andre. Poor guy, treating him like a rag doll or just something that doesn't matter unless he does something to matter, right? His cousin comes forward, speaks on the relationship with Karlissa, basically shames her for how she treats Andre. And I just have to say, once again, I'm trying to keep this unbiased, but I really hate Karlissa. I just think that she is such a disgusting individual. Karlissa comes forward once Andre keeps coming forward himself and saying certain things, and she cries and breaks down and says this.
Because I have done everything I can for him. I have done everything I can for him since before he went to jail. And some of you mothers have this going on. I was not privy to mental health. I know it might look like we doing some mental circus shit, but me and Blue is really just trying to create generational wealth for this family, because that's been a long time promise in our family, because we had enough money to get Andre a lawyer, but not enough money to get him the lawyer that would have set him free, because he did not deserve to be locked up in no cage for 13 years for standing next to two men who decided to start pulling out guns and shoot at each other. So
it's all right.
We did the best we could, Dre. We honestly did. We gave up every dollar we had for you.
Mm-hmm.
We gave up every dollar, and no, you probably didn't deserve that, but I know you needed to sit down, but I know you didn't need to sit down that long, and it probably just disturbed your mental capacity. And all we can do right now is ask for you to just try to get help and forgive the system and forgive yourself. Because there ain't nothing we can do about it at this time. The only thing we can do is try to get financial gain so that it don't happen to your nieces or your nephews.
It's unsettling to name mental health when you have no other excuse for the behavior that is being shown. Andre was deemed competent to stand trial. That means that he's not suffering from anything mentally that would keep him from being an average human being, getting on that stand and stating what he needs to state. So if doctors and the state feel that Andre is competent, why is Karlissa coming forward stating the reason Andre goes through the things that he's going through and does is because he suffers from mental health issues? What Karlissa did is called a cop-out. What Andre is suffering from is not having a mother and not having a father, not having true structure in his life to be able to maneuver as an adult and make conscious decisions that's going to get him further in life instead of doing things that's going to keep making him slide backwards. One very important detail about being a good parent and having a good parent, it's easier to get through things. It's harder to give up when you have a sense of self-esteem because it's been instilled in you from a young age. Not having a sense of awareness and knowing who you are as a person to be able to believe in yourself can hinder you in life to where you become your own worst enemy. Lots of people suffer from not believing in themselves, manifesting things into their lives. Sometimes it's easier to go through pain and suffering and to struggle because we don't feel that we are worthy of having bigger achievements in life, fulfilling our dreams, because having structure matters. So if the village is giving you all of the things you need to be able to join the village as an adult yourself, to where one day, just like people were helping you, you are helping people. Without that village, it's harder to give back. And you have people like Chrisean, Blueface, and Andre that are all suffering from the same thing. They didn't have a strong village around them to be able to give back. So all of the stuff that they should have gotten naturally from their parents, they didn't. So when it's time for them to be parents, they're not going to naturally give their children what they deserve, which would be loving parents. All three of these people are in and out of jail. All three of these people have trouble with the court. All three of these people have issues when it comes to raising and being in their kids' life. Who else suffers from that? Karlissa. She didn't have a village. She states a story about when she was younger and what was happening to her, being SA'd by family members, etc. And her mother kind of allowed it to go on until a family member came and rescued her from the situation, which was a cousin of hers that was around the same age as her mom. So we could relate to that. A lot of people could relate to things like that Karlissa has gone through. But Karlissa is filled with so much vitriol and hate inside of her heart because her dreams never came true. And I feel that she blamed it on her children. If Blueface didn't have some sort of fame to him, I don't think Karlissa would be interested in him at all. I think Karlissa would be more so interested in the husband she decided to choose because her sons and daughter have said out of their own mouths that their mother has always chased men. That is what she's done their whole life. Men have always been more important than being a mother to her children. So this is where that deep hatred inside of Blueface and inside of his brother Andre was born. Again, I do believe that Blueface loves his mother, and I do believe that Andre loves his mother too, but that fine line to where hate is right next to it, I think they feel that way as well. I feel that they love to hate her and they hate that they love her. Moving on from Andre, let's jump back into Blueface. One of the reasons I do not like Karlissa is she is the honorary invisible baby mother. She wants a baby by her own son. It's the only thing that explains her always being inside of the business between Blueface and his children's mothers. Andre said something earlier in the clips that we played that made complete sense. He stated that if Karlissa was supposed to be so business oriented, then where is the structure in Blueface's company? Where's this empire? How was this empire built if this is what you are doing? If this is the reason you hold my brother over my head, because she clearly treats Blueface 10 times better than she treats Andre. So if he already didn't have issues from feeling abandoned, his mother likes to place his brother on a pedestal, which I'm sure is frustrating and causes even more issue between Andre and Blueface than they already had just being siblings. If Karlissa was so business oriented and business savvy, where is the money. The reality show that Karlissa has is a flop. With Blueface being in jail and with him being outside of prison now, it is still a flop. How are you managing a company when you're just managing drama? She is over there all up in Jaden's business, all up in Chrisean's business, and all up in Blueface's business. What does this have to do with business, making money? What does that have to do with anything? Why isn't she sitting down with record labels? Why isn't she sitting down with brands and other artists for Blueface to collaborate with? Things like that. Why isn't she branding the brand? She's not. A reality show is not a brand. It's not LLC'd. It's not going through any big streaming platforms. It's not on national television. None of that makes sense. This is all for Karlissa. She's trying to use the situation of Blueface's and truly monetize off of it when she can't. I want everyone to know this. Blueface is broke. There is no money. This is why it is dire for Blueface to use Chrisean and whoever else he has to use to try to bring in income immediately. Blueface has liens on his homes. He has multiple people that have sued him, even a nightclub that has sued him for millions of dollars because they got shut down due to him coming in there with a weapon, etc. So he has a lot on his plate, not to mention all of the court fines, the lawyer fees. He has a lot going on. And there was way more money coming out than in. I repeat, Blueface is broke. He is in over his head. While Blueface was in prison, Jada and Alexis came forward with receipts that she was putting money on his books and even paying for some of his attorney fees. While Diddy has been in prison, nobody's putting money on his books because he's a millionaire inside of prison and outside. He's not necessarily going broke anytime soon. He has a nice cushion to sit on, plus plenty collateral. Blueface does not. How is that not extremely broke of you to be waiting for women on the outside to sing you money when you're supposed to be this millionaire? Yeah, no. His bills are way too high for him to afford, so Blueface is doing whatever he needs to do. This reality show, I believe he only signed on for it, that Karlissa's doing, which is a flop, because he thought it would bring in money. It's not. So this will be short-lived. Karlissa's time around Blueface is about to be short-lived. He already can't stand her, only tolerating her because she made it seem as if she wanted the best for him. But now getting out of prison, you have a different perception. While you're in jail, you're hopeful that certain things are happening. But when you get out and see that they aren't, you react. Blueface is about to start reacting when it comes to Karlissa. Let's get into this flopped show and the desperate measures they are going through to keep it going. Steve Wilkos comes forward because a fan came into the show's DMs and on the public forum page that they have, requesting that Blueface and Chrisean come into the show and take a DNA test for baby Chrisean Jr. Of course, Steve Wilkos has no idea who Blueface and Chrisean are. So that's why he's having the conversation with his fans on live. Like, hey, I would love to know more about these people. Who are they? We see that they got a lot of hits. A lot of people are moving in the comments when it comes to them. So they must be popular. Who are they? Let me know who they are. I sent the information to my wife, whom is producer of the show, The Steve Wilkos Show. And I guess they're interested in knowing more. That is it. That is all. Chrisean never said she was going on Steve's show. She never sent Steve a message or his wife. And the same thing with Blueface. So they are not trying to go on Steve Wilkos. A fan came forward and requested that they come on to the show. Of course, the invisible baby mama wannabe, Karlissa, comes forward and speaks on Blueface's behalf for the 5,016th time and says this.
Calling the Steve Wilkos Show, Chrisean, Rock, and Blueface. And she got the recording when you call our show, and she was leaving a message. And she was like, you got to have him on your show. And I responded to the comment, I don't know who these people are. And I've never left a comment on anything where I got just unbelievable response. I told my wife about it, and she gave it to one of our producers who I guess is working on it, trying to get these people. And it's still just blowing up. I should probably Google it and look it up, but I think it's insane. I got, maybe somebody out there can explain to me what the hell is going on with this Chrisean and Blueface. I have no idea, but
for his own DNA test, why would he play with Steve? Steve is using Blue for clout. Y'all don't make, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Y'all brains is eating itself alive. Look at them. They don't even care that we see them talking about Steve Blue is not doing nothing else with Chrisean. Okay? That's done, that's over. He's moved on, he's moving up, he's doing his thing. Chrisean got her stuff. Y'all go watch her stuff. They stuff is separate now. He will not be going on no goddamn Steve Wilkins. He could pay for 10 DNA tests if he wants to. Leave us alone about that. God damn. They want my son to be so to go on Steve Wilkins. Like, come on now. Jerry Springer is gone.
Going back to what Andra said earlier about her making this a business and handling the business for Blueface, she never does that. This would have been a good look for Blueface to go on Steve Wilkos' show. Steve has a very popular show. Millions of people watch, and he just got out of prison. So any way he can get on mainstream television and get his name out there is great. So even if they just went on there as a joke, it still would have been cool to see them go on to Steve Wilkos, and would have been a different type of content instead of he said, she said, he said, she said. She needs to fall back. Karlissa is so annoying. Are you sleeping with Blueface? Because that is what this feels like. This is none of your business. It has everything to do with Chrisean and Blueface and Steve listening to fans coming through, giving him show ideas, and him saying possibly if this thing goes somewhere, if Blueface and Chrisean would be interested. And if so, that would be in the future. Not even right now. You cannot keep speaking as if you are sleeping with Blueface, Karlissa. It is disgusting and it is very annoying. Who he sleeps with has nothing to do with you. You're worried about it like he's sleeping with you too. That's why it's off-putting, and that's why it is concerning. You are way too involved in somebody's life that you don't care about. If you were involved in the right ways, then maybe he wouldn't be going back and forth to prison. If you were involved in the right way, why is he being sued for millions of dollars? If you're so business-oriented, and if you're such this concerning, caring parent, all you care about is where he's sticking his peen. That is so weird and disgusting. It's weird and disgusting because you're not worried about the contracts. You're not worried about a record deal. You're not worried about brand ambassadors or him modeling for people. Or you're not worried about the stuff you should be. You're worried about who he's sticking his peen in and the children that are produced from his sticking his peen in someone. What does that have to do with the business? What does that have to do with the generational wealth? It doesn't. It sounds like you want to sleep with your son. Like your son is a celebrity that you were looking for back in the day to sleep with and have a baby by, but it just never happened. Nobody wanted to shoot up your club that had any relevance. You're too busy sleeping with a next door neighbor. So again, Karlissa, fall back. You are a weirdo.
Raised by and since he was raised by me and his daddy, we understand, and he gave a very clear definition yesterday of why he has to do what he has to do. So we got that coming in a few weeks. We'll get that DNA back. Everything will start working out. We'll figure it out. I'm sure he'll have the baby and all types of therapy now. I'm so grateful to God that we'll start to get somewhere. Yesterday was real ugly. It was real ugly. But I thought about it and I see now what he means. Like we're all women working off of emotions.
Where Karlissa goes, once again, poking her nose where it does not belong. And she wonders why people think that she is sleeping with her son. I mean, she does turn him on. I repeat, Karlissa clearly turns her son on. Don't believe me? Let's get into this flop reality show and hear it out of Blueface's own mouth.
That turns me on that she's coming here and you're just like so bothered by it for some reason. Why did that
I'm bothered by it because I don't want the kids to see no drama, and I don't want you to have no drama on the first day out. I don't want them to see no drama.
What's the drama?
Are you serious right now? Are you gonna just sit there and be quiet? Or are you gonna talk? Where your daddy go?
We're talking about real life, man. You want to keep talking about Instagram or you want to talk about real life? Because I'm about to give it to you straight. I don't want to talk about Instagram.
You just told me
I don't care what anyone says. The relationship dynamic between Karlissa and Blueface is utterly strange. She is so concerned with making herself a sexual object to her son. Although she's something that can't be desired, she still wants to be desired by her own kid. That is so weird. Now, I know you hear that clip and you're like, well, why would Blueface say that he's attracted to his own mom, basically? In order to be turned on by someone, you have to be sexually attracted to them. That wasn't a slip of the tongue. He meant exactly what he said. Karlissa is attracted to Blueface's lifestyle. So with her being attracted to that, it's hard to separate the attraction to her son. Again, if Blueface had no notoriety to him, no fame, no fortune, Karlissa would not be interested in him. He would be no different than Andre. The only reason Blueface gets attention is because he has attention. This goes to show me that so many inappropriate things have been going on between Karlissa and Blueface that there's no line anymore. There's no line to say, okay, that's too far, or what you just said is yada yada. Never forget that Karlissa taught Blueface how to go down on women. She absolutely did. And Blueface is not the only person Karlissa taught to go down on women. She also taught her nephew, and both of them were minors. Blueface was a minor and her nephew was a minor when she taught them how to go down on women. On Unwind with Tasha K interviewed Carletta, which is Karlissa's sister. Her son was getting in trouble in the area that they lived in, so she decided to let him go and stay with her sister for a while, so maybe things will calm and he would come back with a new attitude. While he was there as a teenager, Karlissa showed him with his hand and his tongue how to go down on women. And she taught Blueface the same thing. Yes, Carletta was very upset that her sister Karlissa showed her son inappropriate things, and she, of course, made her son show her how Karlissa showed him how to do it, and, blase. And she never sent her son back to Karlissa or let him around her without her supervision. So again, Karlissa is extremely inappropriate, and I think that the relationship with her son has went way too far. Because why would Blueface comfortably say that the way that his mother is acting turns him on because he knows that it's going to lead to some type of intercourse, which why would that even be coming up, having a conversation with your mother? Again, that line is gone. That line to where it's being crossed to where a person would say, hey, you probably shouldn't do or say that. They don't have that anymore. So who knows how far they have gone. I hope it's never gotten physical, but with these two, you just never know. I don't believe Blueface said that for shock factor. I believe he said it because that is simply how he felt. Another thing that disgusts me about Karlissa that I don't think people pay attention to, she does not like Chrisean Jr. She doesn't. She thinks that Chrisean's Jr. illness is not a part of her family, meaning that they don't have sick babies or disabled children. And I also believe that she thinks that the baby is ugly. I do. I think that she thinks Chrisean Jr. is not a handsome or cute little boy. I think she thinks of him as a deformed headache. Is how I feel that she does. And hang on, I'm going to show you why. Y'all know I love Chrisean Jr. down, and I'm always going to pinpoint him. And the rest of this video is definitely going to gear towards Chrisean Jr.
in that restaurant. It crushed me. And for her to say she wanted to stomp me out, girl, I can't even tell you what my mind wanted to do to you once I looked in his face and I didn't know if he was looking at me, you, or the air. I was hurt genuinely. I didn't know if he was looking at me, you, or the air. I was hurt, genuinely hurt. But you know what I said? You know what? That's okay. That's okay. If he can laugh and he can cry and he can smile, he can still be a joy in this world. And that's who I am. And I make anybody feel good. Anybody. Everybody in my family knows that. I make something out of nothing. Repeat after me. She gonna make something out of nothing. But anyway, yeah, so I got to see it. And that's probably what you was mad at me about, because you saw my face and you felt my energy. But that's okay. That was my first time seeing them. I never seen them woke before. I never seen what they saw. I literally thought this whole time maybe people's fans was doing something to the pictures, or, making it not. I didn't believe it the whole time. I just was like, nah, John said there was a couple things going on, but he didn't say it was to that extent. Okay. So I thought, the fans was manipulating stuff. I had no clue, but now I know. Now I see what they see. I see what's going on, and that's all right. That's all right. It don't matter. It wouldn't matter to me at all, one bit. He will be around this motherfucker in a chair that sits him up. I will go buy the best stuff for him. I will go buy the best chair that sits him up. I will be calling India and France and Rome, trying to figure out what machine we can get to work what. We would be chopping that shit down. But nope, you sitting over there with a bunch of weirdos that want some followers. It crushed my heart to look at my grandbaby and see that, and that was my time seeing it. And it did. It crushed my heart a little bit. It did. But I love all my kids no matter what. I told you, whether they slow, need a helmet, whether they got nappy hair, whether they short, funny looking. I love all my grandkids, but I ain't gonna lie, my first initial.
Karlissa comes forward and speaks on seeing Chrisean Jr. at a restaurant. And when she saw him, she said that she was just in complete disarray. She could not believe his physical condition, and him not being taken care of hurt her. So after saying that, here comes Chrisean. Chrisean is very angry by what Karlissa said about the baby basically being disabled or having special needs. She didn't appreciate it. So let's get into what Chrisean had to say about Karlissa.
You talk about my son, bro. That's all I got to say. You talking about you seen him, and you said, oh, you see the illness or whatever, whatever you was trying to say. You saw him and you couldn't believe that you seen whatever they talking about is true. You wasn't that close. You didn't even get to hold him, bro. Don't play with him like that, bro. And it's funny. This is a PSA for everybody that think that they can just clown my kid for clout. Let's see what y'all year gonna look like.
Chrisean gets upset, and that makes complete sense. The only reason why I feel that it's okay for Chrisean to be upset, not because her son is being talked about, because out of all the things Karlissa could have talked about when it came to Junior, all she wanted to discuss is his disabilities and how he's not where he's supposed to be at and da-da-da. Well, do something about it. If you're not willing to help out and help him progress, then shut your mouth. Just say you saw Junior, you were glad you did, and just move on. Why did you have to say all that? Oh, just the condition. He was like, why do all of that? None of that is necessary because you still left him there. If you truly felt that he was in any danger or that he needs assistance, he needs to go to the doctor, why not have that conversation with Chrisean? Why not tell her that you can make the doctor's appointment and y'all can go together, or she can make the doctor's appointments, vice versa? No, you want to point out all of the things that you feel makes Junior less than, which is despicable. I would like you to pay attention and keep in your mind how Karlissa reacted to seeing Junior at the restaurant with Chrisean. Chrisean comes forward, upset. Karlissa hears that Chrisean is upset and apologizes. Let's get into Karlissa's apology.
Sean, sweetheart, I was not clowning. your child, my grandchild. It's time to just say what it is so that you can stop being embarrassed and harboring that guilt. I literally spoke what I saw because I was in shock. I was not trying to say anything bad about your son for clout. That's you. You use my son for clout. I'm not using your son for clout. So that's your guilt. That's your own personal guilt. And anything that you have thought of for my year to go any other way than what Jesus Christ has designed it to go for, I bind and rebuke it in the name of Jesus, because I am a child of God. So whatever you over there plotting and scheming for our year to be whatever you thought it was going to be, it's continually your years, not ours.
We hear the apology that she gives Chrisean. We know she's not sorry because she never wanted Chrisean to have a baby at all, but she did. So since she did, they got to deal with it. Although the baby isn't Blueface's son, Blueface is claiming the baby. So let's get into Karlissa before Chrisean Jr. was even thought of, how she felt about Chrisean having a baby by Blueface.
Rob my son of all his clout. That's how you get your money back. Don't open your legs, running around here playing with Jaden. Don't do all that. Get the clout. Get where you going. Use the clout. Exchange that for the clout. The clout for the. I told her in the interview, y'all. Didn't I tell her? I said, rob my son because they've been down for a long time. You don't want to go back and forth with that. Go ahead and get your bag, get your mama straight, get your family straight, get your situation straight. I gave her the whole gift. Didn't never get a thank you. All I get is all her fans like, you just jealous. Who you think paid for the fingernails and the toenails in the suitcase to pack in the first day? That don't sound like no.
As you just heard, Karlissa's told Chrisean, rob my son of all his clout. Don't have any kids by him. Don't open your legs and have a baby by him. Just get as much clout and attention off of him as you can, because that's what she does. So basically, do what I do. I don't open my legs to him, but I do rob him of all his clout. She allowed Chrisean to do the same thing. But Karlissa, again, never wanted Chrisean to have a baby, and she also has never accepted Junior. She does not like Chrisean Jr. Let's keep going. Get into this.
Crazy people made a baby together. That's what it looked like. He don't look like my son. He do not have Jonathan eyes. Jonathan eyes are not spread apart. Jonathan eyes are close together. Y'all can't ask me about nobody's babies that I don't have. No, I don't have nothing. I ain't got nothing to say. All I know is they don't look like my grandbaby. They don't look like, he don't look nothing like my kids. Cause he look like Damon Omen. He don't look like my son. And he damn sure don't look like his daddy. Jonathan barely look like his daddy. He might have my little lip thing, but that's about it. All of that came from her side of the family. That baby looked just like her and her people. He do not have Jonathan eyes. Jonathan eyes are not spread apart. Jonathan eyes are close together. Javon looked like him. Journey looked like her mama too. She favored John, but she looked like her mama. Like two crazy people made a baby together. That's what it looked like. He looked just like his mama. From the eyes to the look in the eyes, behind the eyes, looked just like his mama. That don't look nothing like Jonathan. Jonathan was a happy, smiling, loving baby as a kid. You didn't even have to do coochie coochie coo to Jonathan. He just smiling and giggling, looking all goofy. No, that did not look like my kids.
Karlissa comes forward and denounces Chrisean Jr. to the highest degree. Oh yeah, he don't look like us. He don't look like my son. We don't have those features. His eyes too close together, on and so forth. So that's her in her own little shady way of making fun of Chrisean Jr. She's saying the attributes of him to say that he is special needs, that he looks weird, he's a disabled kid, he don't look like my kids. None of my kids are disabled, right? If you don't believe what I'm saying, keep listening. In the next clip, she's going to say Chrisean Jr. is slow, and she's going to name attributes of her body to try to compare and say that he looks like her, and ridiculing him. She's literally ridiculing a baby. Listen.
Told y'all.
Very much so. Look at them eyes.
Don't I look slow and everything? Do it again. For real. Do it again. It's just, that's how my family look. Do it again. Watch. I'm gonna look slow. Told you. That's okay.
Serious face.
We still cute as we still cute as we look slow, but we look cute. Just thank God he didn't get my hair.
That part.
Because Journey got my hair. Jayden had her on the camera. I said, ooh, baby.
Oh, my God.
That baby looked like Karlissa hair.
She's such a little happy baby.
She's so cute.
She's so cute with her little eyes, her little beady eyes.
Journey got my hair, and Junior got my eyes.
At the beginning of the clip, she says, don't I look just like Junior? She's talking about Chrisean Jr., Chrisean's son, saying that at that moment in the hot tub, she looked slow. So with her looking slow, that is her finally looking like Chrisean Jr. Why would you say something like that about this baby? What did he do to you to make you ridicule him so hardcore? He is special needs, he's disabled, and he can't help what he looks like. And again, I think he's just the most handsomest, cutest little thing ever. But I think it's highly disrespectful for Karlissa to say these things about this baby. She does not like Chrisean Jr. She's more so like, I'm not going to say afraid of his disabilities. I think she just doesn't want to deal with him. I think she loves Jayden kids because they are normal, average children. They walk, they talk, they do everything that they're supposed to be doing. So it's easier to drink in when people see those kids, and she thinks that those kids are beautiful. She does not think Chrisean Jr. is. She doesn't. She thinks Chrisean Jr. is an eyesore, is how I feel. But let's keep going because it doesn't stop here. The people in the comments were not here for Karlissa's insults towards Chrisean Jr. Her sitting in that hot tub and saying that she looked slow and that reminded her of Chrisean Jr. and that she looked like him because she felt in that moment in time she looked slow was horrible to say. So she comes forward with another apology. Let's get into that.
Talking to you weirdos, switching my words up every 5 damn minutes. And if you following that page, leaving them weird comments on that page, shame on you. Stop switching my words up. I did not say that my grandson looks slow. I said that they have said that we look slow in my family because my eyes are further apart than the average person. So if they're saying he looks slow, it's probably because of our eyes. Now stop fucking playing with me and stop playing with the baby.
Imagine coming forward saying that people are switching your words up when you didn't have to say Chrisean Jr.'s name at all with explaining how you looked slow within that moment in time. Nobody's switching your words up. You said that you look slow, and that reminded you of Chrisean Jr. This is how we know that you do not like him, Karlissa, and you keep making instances to prove that you do not like Chrisean Jr. The picture on the screen shows Chrisean Jr. and Blueface's daughter by Jayden. Notice anything? Well, let me break this picture down for you. Both of these children are with Karlissa. This was recent after the whole debacle at the arcade with Jayden and Chrisean and all that, the day Blueface got out of jail. Blueface's daughter is safely buckled in her car seat. Remember, both children are with Karlissa. The caption proves that they are in the car with Karlissa. Look at Chrisean Jr.'s car seat. Look at the seatbelt. Now look at Blueface's daughter. If, God forbid, there was a car accident, do you think that baby Chrisean is going to be very safe? Yeah. See, he and his alleged sister are around the same age. Why is she in that type of car seat, but Chrisean Jr. is in the car seat that he is in, with a seatbelt literally on him when he has a hard time controlling his body? So he can't sit completely upright on his own. And certain times he needs assistance. So she's trying to prove a point to say that she actually cares about the baby while he's in literal danger as we speak. The car seat that baby Chrisean is sitting in, I believe, belongs to Blueface's son, Javon. Javon is not in the back seat with them. It's just those two. And Javon is old enough to sit in this styling of car seat where the strap just goes around you. It's more of a booster seat than a car seat. This proves once again that baby Chrisean does not have a car seat. He's been not had one. He doesn't have a playpen. He doesn't have a bed. He doesn't even have a place to call home. This is proof the baby is being carried around like a toy, like a doll. She sits him on her lap or sits him next to her like that is safe. Even in town cars, Ubers, etc., he should still be in a car seat. He is not, again, neglect. It is neglect not to have our car seat for a child that belongs in one. Until a kid hits a certain age and a certain weight, they cannot sit without a car seat. And Chrisean is only 2 years old, so he should always be in a car seat in any type of moving vehicle. Based off the things that Karlissa has said and the treatment of Chrisean Jr., it gives she does not like this baby. She treats her other grandchildren with the utmost respect. Only Blueface's, not Andre's child and not Chrisean's child, but Blueface's children, she treats them very well. You can tell she likes Jaden. She likes the relationship that they have. And she also tries to coerce Blueface into getting back with Jaden, although Jaden wants nothing to do with him. So if I had to give an opinion, if I believe Karlissa would be a good suit for Chrisean Jr. to help out raising him, I would say no. Not just because she's a toxic grandmother, because she's a toxic mother. She didn't do well with her own kids. Why would I want to hand her another innocent child to destroy? She does not like this baby. She thinks that his disabilities are a true handicap in all aspects of life. She doesn't want to claim him. She doesn't want to bring him in public. She doesn't want him at her home. She doesn't want him around her other grandchildren. That gives she is pretty much disgusted with this poor innocent baby. So no, I do not believe that Chrisean Jr. should be with an evil individual like Karlissa. Let's move on to Chrisean.
He's sleeping. Like, I'm in.
Paying attention to the screen, you can see that Chrisean Jr. visibly has bruises on the side of his face and on his arm. Chrisean tries to cover the bruise on the side of this baby's face. Now, do I believe that Chrisean physically put the bruise there herself? Not necessarily. Checking back on what Bino had to say about Chrisean Jr., he will fall from the bed, fall from the couch. So he could have easily injured himself by someone leaving him unattended. And he's unattended often. We've played videos of him in the background on the floor in front of a group of adults, and no one went got him off the floor besides the male that was inside of the home at that time. So again, I do feel that she leaves him unattended and he could have easily fallen off the bed or hit his face on the side of something on the way down. I just felt horribly for this child. But to say that Chrisean did it, I don't know. I'm not going to exclude her from it. But since I have no proof of her putting her hands physically on this child besides like poking him in the eye and, you know, trying to avert his attention with his eyes, I don't think she tries to hurt him when she does that. I just think she gets annoyed by his facial expressions because she won't take him to the doctor like she's supposed to be doing. But the jury is still out. I will be keeping my eye on bruises and whatnot when it comes to this baby. But I also could be someone that is around Chrisean. She leaves Chrisean Jr. with a plethora of people. The only time she's specific is when she gives him to a certain sister. And she only does that because she can trust that sister to not publicly go live and state what's going on with Chrisean Jr. and his conditions. Other than that, she just kind of leaves him with whoever takes him. When she's with Blueface, she'll leave him with Blueface's father. She really doesn't want Chrisean Jr. being left with Karlissa, but Blueface's dad could raise him if he wanted to. She trusts Jonathan with baby Chrisean. I don't think Jonathan's doing anything to baby Chrisean. I think Jonathan does care for the baby, but I just think Jonathan doesn't think it's his grandson. I don't think he wants to take care of a grandchild that does not belong to him. And I think that Karlissa isn't honest about it. Karlissa doesn't want anything to do with Chrisean Jr. The only reason she's around him is because Blue keeps claiming it's the reason she was trying to get all of the grandchildren together. She doesn't believe that Chrisean Jr. is her grandson. So why would she be trying to get him? She doesn't want to take care of him. She doesn't want him around because he's not blood. Blueface wanted his kids together and named Chrisean as one of them. So now I guess he's claiming them again. Whatever. Either way it goes, it was not Karlissa's idea. This is why Chrisean was so salty to her, because of how she treats her and how she treats her son. So I understand that with Chrisean. I appreciate her standing up for her son, because nobody needs to be disrespecting her kids. So
smoke weed while you pregnant. Yo, that is so fucking ratchet. You sound like a fucking body. That is so ratchet. No, weed is not that important for me to have to smoke. For me to smoke. Babe, what you laughing at me? They like you could smoke weed while you pregnant. No, the fuck I can't. Hell no. Honestly, I feel like it doesn't even, you shouldn't even want to smoke weed, one, and it doesn't make you like after a while in the beginning, early, you're not gonna want that no more. Like, you're gonna be like, ew, get it away from me. A lot of smells and things when you're pregnant agitate the out of you. I'm trying to practice on stop cursing, because when my baby gets here, I don't want to just be like a...
Coi Leray is Blueface's ex-girlfriend, and Karlissa liked Coi. She wanted her and Blueface to stay together, but it didn't end up working out. They broke up, moving right along. Karlissa comes and comments under Coi Leray's post when she's speaking of not smoking or doing any drugs while pregnant, and she stated like, oh no, I couldn't do that. You shouldn't want to do that. You should want your kid basically out healthy. Why would that even be on your brain? It's just 9 months. It's not a big deal. Just wait, if it's that deep to where you need to do it, wait until you have the baby. It's not that important, which is true. So shout out to Coi Leray. Karlissa comes underneath the comments and says like, yeah, sacrifice for 9 months to make sure that your baby has a good start in life. It's not shade towards Chrisean. That is shade towards the baby, because Karlissa wants nothing to do with the baby. Chrisean is, again, a horrible mother. She is an unfit. She tries to make it seem that she did nothing to this baby, that her baby is 100% okay, when there is proof. Even Glorilla tried to protect Chrisean while she was pregnant. Chrisean Rock was taking a blunt to the face while pregnant on live, and then was rolling another one while pregnant on live with Glorilla. Let's check this out.
You live certified. Get certified.
Yeah, like I gotta be hella sober. I'm like,
Okay.
oh hell no.
I feel you. I feel you.
He's like, we not about to talk about that. You know what, bring it up.
Get your phone up. Get your phone on phone.
Oh shit.
We want to see your baby face.
I know. Even Glow's like, yo, move your phone. We can see everything that you're doing. Girl, you pregnant. You don't need to be doing all of this. One, in real life. And two, on live in real life. Everybody see you, girl. People can call the police on you, CPS on you. Stop doing that. But you got to let people be who they are. So I don't blame Glow for not saying anything like, hey, stop doing that, blah, blah, blah. She's an adult. What is Glorilla supposed to do? Glow is not her mother. If she won't listen to her own mom, who is Glorilla? But this further proves all of the inflictions that She was putting on this baby while she was pregnant. She's taking multiple blunts to the face while pregnant. Also taking bottles of alcohol to the face while pregnant. In prior videos, I've showed her drinking while pregnant. And in this video, I'm showing you her smoking while pregnant. So again, Chrisean, with these lies of you trying to make it seem like the baby is A-okay, there's nothing wrong with him, he's 100% healthy, stop talking about my son, bro. No, we need to talk about your son, bro, because of what you have taken him through. You may not want to take accountability, and that's fine, but he still needs to be in the hands of someone that is going to truly take care of this baby. And sadly, Chrisean, that is not you. You were doing it before the baby was born, and you're still doing it now to this day. In prior videos, we have seen Chrisean Jr. have certain seizures, and it's alleged that he's having these seizures. Again, we are not doctors. We're not pretending to be. We are just basing things off of what we see because Chrisean won't take the baby to get the help that he so needs. I've stated before, there's all types of seizures. There are silent seizures, there are convulsion seizures, there are seizures to where a baby will daydream or just stare off into space. There's all types. And Chrisean Jr., with the doc's medical information, seizures are a part of his diagnosis. It's a big reason that the public wants Chrisean to take Chrisean Jr. back and forth to specialists so that she can see what's going on with her son. So she knows if he's just having a good day, smiling, laughing, and giggling, or if he is seizing. She has no idea. I have a compassion when it comes to these type of situations because I was in healthcare for 12 years. I was a PCA and a home health aide, and I was lead staff at each job when I did as such because I went above and beyond with my job. I really care about these people, and we make their day. We truly do. So having a disabled child with Chrisean and Blueface, well, Chrisean, having a disabled child really hits home for me. So I can't just sit around and watch nothing happen when he needs so much assistance. I'm going to play this video of Chrisean Jr. and the public feeling that he is having seizures. And they also are showing ways and terms and symptoms of said seizures, and then they show Chrisean Jr. So I would like you to be the judge. Do you think Chrisean Jr. is seizing at these moments, or do you think he's just simply a kid giggling, having fun?
Hi, my boo boo boo.
Seizures in babies are more common than you might expect. When it happens, you may see the baby's eyes rolling.
Were people who honored those who had.
I have notes in my phone. Who got my phone?
You have what? No.
Arms or legs stiffening.
By the wayside. Yes, sir. And they told him about a man named Jesus who was on his way by. And that blind man hollered out, Jesus, Son of God, have mercy on me. But I couldn't have taught better than God speaking. And won't see this many people at the altar. They're
Put prayer hands, y'all. Everybody that love me in the chat. Good job.
Sing it with me? Yeah?
What do you think? I would love to hear your comments below. Do you think that baby Chrisean is seizing, or do you think that the internet is reaching? I would say I think it's a little bit of both. I think at times he could be seizing without being a doctor or having a degree in seizures, brain activity. You can't tell, right? Now, if a person is convulsing, it's easier to determine them having a seizure. But silent seizures are harder to figure out when they're happening, what makes them happen, what stops them. This is why a doctor is needed immediately. So again, I'm on the side of maybe, not the side of, oh, for sure, because I can't honestly tell. I want to be able to tell, and I do think that certain scenes and certain clips he probably is seizing, and then there's certain scenes and certain clips to where he just may be fine, to where people may be kind of reaching because he does certain things with his hands and certain things with his feet. So I don't know. I do think that he needs to get into someone's doctor's office right away, and glasses are essential. This baby needs glasses. I do believe, again, which I'm going to break down more in the next video, that Chrisean Jr. can see. I think that he has a hard time seeing. And I think why he looks off into space and why his attention isn't truly on a person unless they're really close to his face is because that's as far as he probably can see, in my opinion. But I do not believe that Chrisean Jr. is blind, but I do believe that Chrisean Jr. does have seizures. I do believe that. It's dire we get this baby away from Chrisean. Did you know she forgets how old he is? It's like, how do you forget how old a baby is? I get when your kids get a little older, but as a baby, most parents know how old their kids are by month. They don't even say year. They'll be like, oh, he's 18 months. Oh yeah, she's 26 months, and whatnot. That's how much they love their babies, that they even have it down to the month, to the second, to the day. And Chrisean literally forgets how old her baby is. Let's get into the clip.
She don't know his birthday, y'all.
What age? You know, I got what's that called?
What?
You know how when you know? No, you know how when.
Girl, you geeked up. Girl, you geeked up.
I hate
She can't even formulate.
Yeah, y'all pray for Chrisean Jr. I will not let up. I will stay on top of everybody's back, legs, shoulders when it comes to Chrisean Jr. We need this baby to be in solace and peace. He's getting none of that around any of these individuals. This is why people call CPS. This is why I keep showing all of the components and the people around Chrisean Jr. so that people can see that none of these people are suitable. Child protection, I would prefer this baby go to strangers than be with these people. At this point, I would take my chance on strangers than having anybody that he knows. Nobody in Chrisean's family? No, nobody there needs to raise him. Nobody in Blueface's family? No, nobody needs to raise him. I wish that it was proven that he was Ronnie's kid before Ronnie passed away, because I feel that Ronnie's family would be perfect for Chrisean Jr. I love you all. Rest in peace to Ronnie. We will be back with another installment of this video. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. And until then, keep Chrisean Jr. in your prayers. Save Junior, save Junior, save Junior. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until the next one, bye.